very low in Europe. They lost to them. They obviously had a close win over a team called Lunaris. Like, it's really not a strong map for them, and we need to see so much more from them. It starts with this man Kree, who's coming in with confidence, a straight mid push, trying to get up behind them early on as G2 looked for aggressive A control. In fact, they're still looking for it. They lost short, but they just run out on sight, and Artis picks up a double. What is this?
This is aggression, this is confidence, this is G2 at its best. Absolute ownage from start to finish, and Nip didn't know what hit them other than a bunch of bullets flying straight towards their faces because they could not match up against that.
That is a commit to the plan. You commit to the strat 100%. They get slowed down on short. So I'm thinking, well, the guys on long are going to stop, right? Then NIP come up on that flank from mid with the two players that pushed, and boom, they've got the round. They've got G2 pincered. But G2, well, they had something else in their mind. They just used Mixwell to dash through to the site, open up, pull their crosshair off the angle, and find every duel along the way. That is nuts, and one hell of a confident way to start this out. NIP tried to come in with their own confidence, but they got outmatched in that department.
Yeah, that's not pretty at all. Oh dear, but at least Nip, right, we saw this before. When they come in with the pistols on the second round, where it's G2 that have the weapons, they almost got the win. Can they do it this time around? Remember, there's a few choke points they could find themselves falling into. They're trading out for now, but it's just pistol power, because you know what G2 like to do? Not upgrade too far into some of these rounds. Lucka needs to be very careful, though. Instantly, the smoke goes down, and Lucka, he might want to be sneaky, he might want to try and poke through this. Fearoff's there to back him up, but G2 have backed away.
Running for the hills. I mean, at the moment for G2, they should get control over this C site. Hip was trapped in the corner. He was stunned up as well. Great opening by Breach. And now you end up in a spot where, 3 versus 2, you can hold down these closer angles. You've got Mixwell to dance with death from afar. The Bulldog in play. Oh, he's not doing too well with it, though, at the start, but finishes it, recovers it towards the end. Luckily, the pistol's on range, never really going to do too much. And with that, they find themselves the second round, a little bit better than the previous map as well.
Yeah, solid control coming out there in the end, but they managed to get the 2-0, which is the key thing here. Nip may have got off to a bad start, but this is the one where it can turn around quite drastically. Now, not so many lighter weapons coming out from G2. Remember, they stick with the pistols. And I know you're quite a fan of that, aren't you, Mitch? You're not so much against it that you can have more players stick on the Ghost and gain that extra money so you don't end up with a bunch of Spectres and Bulldogs coming into the third.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of that, whether it's Counter-Strike or whether it's Valorant. I think second round buys when you're versus an eco, you don't want to invest fully. This is a hell of an aggressive push, though. NIP trying to get up in their opponent's faces, but the return flash, this is dangerous now. Out goes Ryan for one, but he's dealt with, and so is Kree. David P came through with a flash. He's got a couple, he's got 3, and with that, the kills go massively in G2's favor. They're able to smoke off Heaven, but it doesn't matter. Mixwell goes through for the kills before they even land.
And did you see how far Panatek got as well? He rushed up short while the rest were dealing at long. He was in the site before the 2 players even went down. Now, Lucka thinks he can turn something around here, but he's got a hell of a lot more work to do, and that work's going to be completely ended by Piff. He's the boss in this play. It's a 1v2, certainly possible here for Hip, but they know exactly where he's coming from. Swift headshot delivered by Panatek, and a clean 3-0 start now for G2. Nip, that aggression at the beginning that was thrown towards them, they tried to battle back with some of it at their own at long, but they were just overwhelmed and outnumbered.
It's not a bad play. I just want to highlight that. Like, they did an all right job. Kree went to the right side, but then TP'd left to try and pull them off the angle again, so they'd be pre-aiming the wrong side, but it was just too much. And ultimately, it comes down to David P's flashes. He was able to blind those guys on long, so they couldn't do a damn thing. Kree couldn't see anything as he just got overwhelmed. And with that 3, I think that was even what forced him into using the Shadow Step in the first place. And now on 3-0, they're in a pretty comfy spot. You shouldn't be facing too much resistance in this round. And NIP, they're going to take the ult orbs at the start. And really, if they get 1 or 2 kills, that would be ideal. There's not a whole lot I expect from them.
Yeah, it's all about the extra damage for them to try and do. And realistically, when you're trying to fight onto B site, there's so many angles you just get smoked out from. You can't see through. G2 can just hold it quite comfortably, especially when you're on lesser weapons as well. For Nip, though, it's about damage control, right? What can you take away from him? What else can you at least try and take away into this next round? Can you get some additional kills to get yourself some ult points while not giving away too many on the other side?
There it is. Looker taking up one onto Pith. It's looking all right with the classic kill, but nothing else comes. And, you know, again, this is not a round where you expect a massive deliverance coming through over towards the defensive side of NIP, and they don't get a whole lot for it. No weapons recovered, no players surviving, and you can see it. I mean, these player cams are actually giving us a lot of info, James. You can see how happy and chill G2 are, which is something that we know from watching their streams. They're a lax team. But when you look over towards NIP, every time we see their player cams, it's looking pretty grim.
Yeah, this is the problem, right? NIP, you see it. Hip sometimes, hand in his face. He's unsure of what's going on, what he can even do at that point. We see them looking a bit more distressed, and rightly so. You're on the back end going on your map pick. You come onto a map which you know isn't exactly ideal for you. And once again, this battle at long, it's the breach display of skills coming out here. But if I'm Nip, yeah, you just fall back. Don't overcommit to it this time. Don't give them the chance.
Yeah, exactly. For NIP, they've got to just... Oh, took away. Look at that. Little opening tickle towards Pyjamas. He's in a little bit of trouble. Flash through. No return by Rhyme. He's gonna... Oh, he's being pushed down. No idea that Mixwell's close, but his teammate comes through for the support. He's going to try to back out of here, but I don't know if he's going to be allowed. Pith swinging on through, but Rhyme delivers with 2. That is great work, but David P does a world of hurt towards them. Not enough, though, as Kree grabs a double to close that one out. Good positioning around the site to isolate those fights one at a time, and they've come through with their first round.
Really solid there from Faroff, right? Because he allowed Rhyme to be able to get those extra 2 kills on long simply because he was causing such a distraction. They were trying to poke in, they were trying to get some extra information at long and see exactly where they'd be sat, but it didn't even matter in the end. Nip getting this round is key because it stops G2 getting too far away early on. Remember, last time around, it just looked doom and gloom from the very beginning. What was it, 9-1 when they got the first one?
I think so. I think, yeah.
Something like that, right? 9-1, 8-1, something like that. And that's where you're like, oh, God, it's such an uphill battle. At least here, and especially with an opening early pick here from Lucka, this seems a lot more plausible for NIP to come back into it. They need to keep this going. Pyjamas sneaking round, but Kree well aware that this could be the case. Already in a 3v5, and this time it's in favor of NIP. We've not said that much at all.
No, we really haven't. Last game, there was no favor for NIP. Now, at least things look that little bit better. We'll see how things are going to roll the rest of the round, though. There's always a chance for G2 to come back into it. You can never count them out. But the ults are firmly in Nip's favor. They've got a lot to play with here. The Rolling Thunder, the knives for Jet can start to really rip them apart. And then Ultimate going to be popped down here, actually, straight away. That's G2 that have gone through and popped themselves the lockdown, trying to clear out the A site, but Looker's still safe up in heaven. He's happy to just spray away. And Mixwell somehow managed to catch himself up behind Kree.
Yeah, Kree didn't even decide to check onto that. David P's going to be a nuisance on C at the same time, looking to try and continue to do some more damage. Oh, it's the timing! Mixwell's backing him up. It's now into a 2v2. One of these rounds again where you just think G2 are down and out, and actually, this could be viable. Mixwell looking to be very careful here. Tries to check up on it. The scope might not allow him to see it. Lucka may have just missed the timing on it. Throws down the smoke, wants to look for it on the side. Oh, they both missed their shots. They can't make it connect. The ult's going to be popped, and Lucka just runs straight into it. Oh, Mixwell straight up in the grills of Faroff, who's now going to try and stick the defuse. The flash is going out, and Faroff, he's trying to spam it. He's trying to make it work, but David P plays it smart. 5-1, and G2 pull off an incredible round, which looked like it was almost guaranteed for NIP once again.
Man, I don't want to see the NIP player cams after that.
No.
Even my player cam would be pretty rough at this point. Jeez, that is ridiculous. Yeah, for Mixwell to find that kill, great. Look at this position then, over towards the C site. Immediate kill coming through from David P. Mixwell, I don't know what that was. That was confidence just overflowing. And look, even him when he dies, he's like, yeah, whatever, don't worry about it. And look, David P's hyped up. He's ready to go. He's won that clutch perfectly. The flash used to pull the player off, and then he swings through with a great time. Whoa! David P, hello! That man's just bunny hopped out mid looking for a fight. He found one in Looker, but not one that went his way.
Faroff getting a bit of damage done with the Hunter's Fury. Actually finds Piff with it as well. Great start coming out here for NIP. But it was 5v2 last time around, and G2 still managed to win it. So you can never count them out of it. I'm not going to get overly excited for what Nip can do. It's now about minimizing mistakes, as Mixer once again wants to peek his way into B. but he's waiting for a bit of backup this time around.
You know, this map is typically attacker side, and 57% over in the level Valorant Clash managed to win out their attacking side, 57% of the rounds. And right now, you know, okay, G2 were ahead, but they got the pistol round. They've had some early round build up. It's those clutches. That's the problem. You know, that's where you start to go, I don't care what side this map is for. If you're in a 3v4 or a 2v4 and you manage to win out those rounds consistently, that's a point where I can't really defend you over on the defensive side anymore.
Yeah.
But NIP have managed to at least get rid of this one. You know, they've managed to pull back and, well, rather convert over on it on the back of early ultimate success, on the back of very aggressive plays by David P. But that seems to me like G2 getting a little bit overconfident and ultimate's going the way over an NIP. Is it repeatable? I don't know when it comes to buy rounds. I don't think so.
Yeah, down to just like David P bunny hopping out was a pretty wild one in the first place. He really had his skates on, wanting to get up close and personal early on, but Nip met it with some of their own aggression. Now we're going to have the technical pause come in here. Obviously, a few things may just need fixing. Jumping out of his seat. He's given up. He's underneath. He's underneath the desk. He's plugging things in and out. No admins here when we're home and online.
Can't have someone come fix it for you.
He's like, damn it, I got to try to fix this myself. Why?
I've always wondered, you know, what percentage of tech pauses are actually someone's got a bad bladder and needs to run. I feel like it's a pretty high percentage. That's the thing, though, with player cams, you can't get away with it. We can see
All
it.
eyes on you.
There he is. He's back. He's ready to go. Guaranteed that was just to go to the toilet. But he's fixed his mouse now. He's ready to go.
Oh, Mitch, you're calling out the players. You mean man.
Hey, look, there's nothing wrong. Technically, I mean, that is a technical issue with your body, right? It's like, I can't focus, you know?
Oh, you're really clutching for it now. A technical issue with your body.
I technically need to go to the toilet, so it looks like game's back on, ready to roll. And, you know, Banks, with bladders empty and tech issues resolved, shall we say? Look, I don't like that. You cannot get out of there as Jet. There's no escape.
Yeah, you can't back away quick enough. That's just not possible. Mixmo comes up high. Somehow doesn't get taken out. Kree's got to be oh so careful. He pulls into the pistol, but it's not going to work out. Lesser weaponry for G2 on some players, but Rhyme, he believes he can make it his time. Hips there backing him up as well. But is it enough? The spike's down. It's a 3v2. NIP on the back foot, but they can quickly turn this in their favor. Hip's going to try and play it smart. Ult's going to be popped, but is that even going to be enough? Fear of droning forward, but it's not going to work out. It gets destroyed before he can get any information from it. David P trying to back away. He's getting tagged up just a little bit, and he's only just about able to escape. 0 players detained, and this could be the difference between winning it and not. Hip very full focus down on C-Long, and both players going to be there. Oh, right up in his grills. They know what's going on. The Omen ult's being used, but Panatek still goes down. Fearoff can stick it, and Nip are going to win it. Hip gets the kills, and it's 5-3. They're not over and out just yet. They're not allowing G2 to stretch their lead too far.
What worried me there was towards the backside, there was a gap for Mixwell to sit in without being detained, but they really checked it out. And, you know, in that initial kill, I think Kree, for him, that stung. And not just because of the weapon that killed him. He missed so many opportunities there onto Mixwell and then onto Pith, who ended up taking him down with the Stinger. It's not a nice way to go, Banks. It really isn't. Full magazine of the Vandal expended while he can see his enemies. And again, look, Looker wants to go for this aggressive play once more. Now, look, you can get into the corner, but my problem is if they swing and challenge you straight away, there's no quick dash to get out of there. You have to turn, and you have to line yourself up. And even then, they can still spray you on your way. I much prefer the opening duel, at least. The Jet playing more aggressive on a corner so that they can dash back behind the cover.
Here needs to be good for at least one here. Starts tapping away. He does get it done, but there's many players surrounding him. G2, they've gained control of the B site. The spike is down, and nicely done from Rhyme. Mixwell up high, doesn't expect it. No smoke able to give him the cover, and this may give Nip the chance to push in. Patatek spots out the drone. He's also going to be spotted out himself. Oh, but he's not going to escape that. Lucker comes in with a charge. The shots are going to work out, but David P, Oh, you've got to be oh so careful here. You're very far away. They're on top of it. Lucker's going to be forced off, though. Great use of the abilities coming out here from G2, but is it going to be enough? He's already got it over halfway. He dies to it as well. They're not on it in time, but the kills are going in favor of NIP. They still get the defuse down. But my, oh my, that could have gone either way.
That was a brave play to just sacrifice himself for the halfway play. I got very worried there. You saw the server, I think it failed to register the defuse. I was like, wait, that's not a bug, surely.
Yeah, please don't block
surely
now.
not. I remember back in the days of, I think, it was Battalion, yeah. There was times when you just couldn't defuse the bomb. And like, we were at a 50K major tournament on a LAN. And people would lose rounds because they couldn't defuse. And there was no match medic, much like in Valorant. You just kind of had to go, I guess you win that round. Like, it was really awkward. No, those were terrible times. I got flashbacks, thanks, but it's all right. It worked out in the end. Fearot's pushed off the angle early on by the fault line coming through, and that could be a fault because now G2, look, they've got all the control, and they are hard pushing the A side.
Now, one thing that's really interesting here, Mitch, is these rounds that we've seen from NIP, they've come close, but they've weathered the storm. G2 may have money, may still be buying on it, but if they can just get this round here, which is already looking good, Locker hitting some incredible shots. Locker dropping them like flies, looking for more. It's not going to work out, but already enough damage has been done. Patatek backing away, wants to ensure that he's not going to get spotted out here. Fear of spot's going to be known now, but he's also going to be aware of where one other player is for now. The battle of the Sovas. Artist has got to be quick on it. Spike's going to be picked up, but he needs to find another kill for sure.
Oh,
I like this. Yeah, nice decision.
Oh, he's been spotted though. The shot so close. Almost on him. Fearoth goes for the long shock dart, trying to catch him underneath. And there it is. Kree just shutting it down. Nice little double for him. That is the round concluded with a defuse. And look, we said about the attacking side, 57% of rounds when it came through to the previous EU Ignition Series event. Well, I mean, at the moment, G2, they're actually not too hot. They're not doing too well. NIP have pulled themselves by their bootstraps right back into this series.
And for NIP, right, they've got some momentum now. They're winning some clutch rounds. They're hitting some great shots. This from Laka was just beautiful. I thought he was going to go on and get one more kill with it. But the good thing here for G2, even though you're seeing their face cams again, they're not looking down and out of it. Like, they're not looking like, oh, okay, like, yeah, we're losing a few rounds here. And that's the thing about G2. The confidence is always flowing high. You could never count them out.
Absolutely. Yeah, for G2, they're a team that I don't think I've ever seen not smiling. And hell, when you haven't lost a single best of 3, why wouldn't you be? That's a pretty happy.
It makes sense.
Yeah. They don't know what pressure is. They've never been put under it. Mixwell, hello! Ooh. This guy's just out in the open. He's missed all his shots, though. That is not something that you'll get away with all too often. Hip sprayed, though, and taken down. Now Looker's able to exact some revenge, though, taking down Mixwell, the head-to-head that we wanted to look at earlier, and we're seeing it right there. Into a 3v3 smoke, but Looker wants to go through it. He's looking to push on the back of it, gets a kill up close. David P wrecked as Looker. Oh, my God, what is that? Pith deleted, and Looker's looking for even more. Classic in hand. Here comes a TP. Free as can be. Looker's got 4. And my God, Nip pick up another round in insanely dominant fashion.
Absolutely destroyed. Looker was ensuring that round was going to go their way. That shot onto Piff was just naughty. He never expected that position there. And now Nipper in the lead. First time throughout this series they've grabbed themselves in a position where they can be in the lead.
And I feel like Mixwell is going to be kicking himself a little bit. You know, their attention was divided pushing through to that A site by the player that he had whiffed on earlier on. Now, had that not have come through, maybe they could have focused over towards Looker and taken away the space that he was given to pull that round off. It's a pretty devastating situation, and it's made even worse now by Ferrith opening this round up with a double hit of his ultimate.
Some more damage coming out there. He was trying to do as much as possible already, and G2 again, they're just struggling to get in. Oh, nice position here from Mixwell. Dashes his way in, finds himself 2 kills, even grabbed himself an operator, but runs straight into the hands of Hip. Lucker's there as well. And even with G2 getting these openings, it might not be enough. David P spamming it up, but now it's a 1v2. They've only got Lucker to find. And they're being very cautious. The flank might be the one that comes in. They need to also be able to grab that spike. Swapping over the weapons, and I like the decision on it. Luck is going to have no idea. Should have expected it, though, if the spike had been called, it had been dropped. Maybe it wasn't seen from that spot. Just looking at where people died.
Yeah, I imagine they would have seen it, but yeah, maybe not. It is a bit of an odd one, but the rotate... Oh, there we go. Okay, it's spotted towards C now. Looker knows what's going on. He'll be able to get himself into a position in Garage, and they don't have anything to wall him off. Oh, no, he's actually going to go towards the spawn. Lucky as well, because Garage is actually being pushed at the moment. He might have found a small gap as he pushes forward, gets himself into a decent position. He's got his smokes left. He's got his dash as well, so he can find a kill and get away with it. He hears
Always heard a footstep. Yeah.
Knows they're in Garage, but no idea about the second player. Artist catching him off guard for his 6th, and a tied-up scoreline. Good recovery by Nip.
A very good recovery from Nip. Nip holding strong on the defensive side. You said it's attacking side coming in there, Mitch. We'll be finding out how that attacking side is going to go after the break.
But I have no idea where it is, man. Wait, is that Phoenix?
It's fine. It's fine. I'll take the L. I don't mind.
Yeah, if it was Counter-Strike, I would own it for sure, man.
I think I'll stop jumping the gun. I'll think about it a little bit more. I feel like I've got good map knowledge. I should. I fly around the maps every day on practice, so I'll be pretty disappointed if I don't. I reckon I'll beat Scream.
I feel like there's this thing on every map, man.
That's Haven.
I like this kind of, to aim, to practice your aim.
That's Haven in the Defender spawn, I'm pretty sure.
No, this is not in my mind right now, man.
Yeah, I'll lock in Haven, I'll lock in Defender spawn to the left.
Oh, actually, I will say Haven. I will say Haven. Like the defense, spawn,
I was right. I knew it. I was a bit worried there for a second.
I had no idea for this one.
I'm just gonna go off my instincts every time. That's definitely bind.
It's not split.
I want to say like towards A short.
Once again, I have no idea. It's hard, man. This game is hard, man.
Attacker side of A short on bind.
I think I'll go for bind. In the area where like there's a bathroom, that's it. I mean, there's the TP. But that's not the answer, man.
Oh, in the back of my head somewhere, it's like that's on bind, like in this position, and I'm just going with the flow.
Okay, this has to be split. I recognize the texture.
That's on split. Attackers spawn to the right. I'm really confident. I'll lock that in straight away, I think.
It's split for sure. I'm pretty sure about that, man.
Yeah, color scheme, giving it away. I feel like I've seen this poster before. Like all that metal is like all of a split and the white walls.
Let me say A side on split, like on catwalk.
100%. I'll lock that in. Yeah.
That's not on catwalk, man. Elbow. This is an elbow.
Oh. Yeah, I've never looked up there on elbow before. I wouldn't know.
Okay, this is easy, man. Can I get it straight away also? It's ascent on top mid. That's my answer. Yeah.
That's ascent top middle. Well, when you think you know. Like I'm confident on it, so I knew it.
I think there's only one map where there's a tank. It's bind. I'll definitely say bind.
Oh, that's bind a short one by the truck.
I'm not losing that. I'm not losing that.
Hey, let's go. I'll take 80%. I'm pretty impressed that I got 80%.
It's difficult. It's difficult. The next time I'll watch everything on the maps. Like.
Nip are not going down without a fight. G2 may have started off strong and may have put up a good scoreline to start off with, but Nip battled on back. And I gotta say, Mitch, right, there's little things between Scream and Eccles in the break. I do love them. We were just talking and chuckling to ourselves about it. I'd be terrible at that, though.
Yeah, I remember I did some of those with different games, like we were doing Halo from back where I started, and my God, they're difficult, man. Oh, hold on, Mixwell, hello, and there's the benefit of the jet. He's able to get out of there, not unscathed, but alive at least.
Whew. Not just unscathed, he lost every part of his body. He's got 22 health to back away with as Nip. They changed up what they were planning to do. Kree's got himself in window. He's looking to push on it, but he pushes straight into Piff. Less than ideal. Hip is nearly getting a kill, but Arnis is backing him up. They're going left and right, center forward, everywhere right now, but it doesn't matter for Nip because they're all going down. Lucker's trying to battle back, and he still manages to get one through the smoke. But Arnis will eventually take him down. A defensive pistol round 1 for G2, but that was just far too chaotic for my liking.
Yeah, that was absolutely wild. We end up in a position where at least, pulling back some of those kills, Looker through the smoke. I don't know how he got away with that much. So much damage done. It really could have swung either way. But look, the reality is, I want to just touch on this very quickly. When we look at NIP, their attacking side is generally where they pick up the majority of their rounds. We saw this a couple of times. Now, it is always difficult, Banks, at this stage of the game, after a big update, to come in and say, oh, this is how they play the map. They're playing different agents. They're playing the game completely differently. This is a team that have struggled with their identity, as we said. So there's so much that is just completely irrelevant in a way. At the same time, it's still worth mentioning that, this is definitely a side that we expect them to thrive on. And look at this, the classic push. I don't mean one that we see a lot. I mean, that's the weapon they're using. They got the classics in hand, the base pistols, and they're opening it up as well. Now a 5 versus 4 and a little bit more doable. Still up against the majority SMGs, though. This is where G2 should be able to clean it up with the HP that's left over in NIP.
Palatech just patiently waiting down at C long. Soon to see some of these players. They jump spot across. They all start to push him. This is going to be a weapon going in the hands of NIP. Well, Mitch, you said about it. The problem here is giving away a couple of weapons, you give Nip a great chance. Losing the pistol's not so bad, but losing the Bulldog here, this can be very uneasy now, especially as they still got 40 seconds to play with. They don't have to directly commit to one place. They can still keep G2 guessing.
Make sure that they're not able to over-rotate until the push is coming through, and that's exactly what's happening now. But still 2 players in position over towards G2 and spraying away. But Hip is here to save the day. He's good for 1, but he's got to do a little bit more. He has the spike, and he can't get to the site. 15 seconds remaining, and up down below for a second, but Looker went up in the air to try and get a little bit of distance closed in. Looker's also had one hell of a game, Banks. He has stepped it up massively.
And we've needed to see this from Looker. We've needed to see him really try and challenge the likes of G2 because, like Tom was mentioning, when he's gone up against G2, it's not where he's shined. He's had these great games against many other of the top teams throughout Europe, but it's G2 that's been the kryptonite towards him.
Banks, when I look at the position as well that G2 have gotten themselves in the early stages of these maps, I mean, they're coming ahead 2-3-0 consistently. That is really hurting NIP. Not winning these pistol rounds puts you at a massive disadvantage when you can convert the second. And you manage to make it close, you take away a lot of their weapons, but it means nothing if you don't follow through in the buy round. And we need to see that from NIP right now. They don't want to allow G2 to get the ball rolling like we saw over on Ascent. This is a map that they need to stay alive. Nip have looked better, and now they're on their more comfortable side with a Killjoy that a lot of players have criticized as not being that useful when it comes to the attack. So I'm curious to see how they approach this one.
The 2 Killjoys in play. And for G2, right, when we spoke to Artis before in an interview, he was saying it's just a monster on the defensive side. How will Piff utilize it in comparison to what Hip has done? We'll have to wait and see. But at least in this opening duel, Rhyme's just going to walk through quite an easy one for him to take against Mixwell. He gets into the window, but straight away has to back away. But these picks, again, going in favor of NIP. They've got so much control, so much room to work with. They can now take the C site. And G2, they don't have an answer. They can't push into window just yet. They can't find any movement towards garage. I don't actually know, where do you go? Do you just save?
See, the thing is, they came into this round with mixed weapons. In fact, that fight that was taken down mid was with a stinger. I don't think that's the best it plays. Really? There we go. Now they saved. They've managed to find an operator. That is a weapon that you're definitely going to carry through to the next round. And a Bulldog, you've heard me say it a million times. I love that weapon. It's my favorite weapon in the game. Okay, it's not the best weapon. I'd definitely rather have a Vandal, but it feels damn good. When you're getting the kills on the ADS, 3 burst. Oh my, it feels good. I don't know what it is, why it feels so good. Maybe it's the bass on the bullet sounds, but I love it.
The bass on the bullet sounds. That's what convinced you to go for it.
Yeah, dude. It's all about, you got to feel, it's not about how powerful the gun is, it's about how powerful the gun feels, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I'm after, and that's why
You just feel like you're rocking with it. You're like, I got this.
Yeah, it's like in
makes you feel
CS. You come out with the deagles every round. It's like, yeah, it feels so good to shoot. I don't hit headshots, but it feels good, and that's all that matters.
It's like that bit from Men in Black, right, where he's like, I make this look good, but then he can't do anything with it. He can't shoot it. Can't
Yeah,
He goes to
exactly.
that little tiny gun, the noisy cricket.
It's all about style. That's all it is.
Well, right now, it's Lucka, like you mentioned. He is the one star, and this is the performance we needed to see from him. And right now, Nip knew they're not going down and out like it was on Ascent. They're going to be pushing with all their might. Picking up this round keeps them well within it. But it's keeping it going forward, which is going to be key. Lucka, now popped his ult. He's going to be pushed away for now. He's going to be backed off. And again, G2 looking to try and hold on to this A site. We've got the Jet and the Sova in play.
You look at NIP, they're very spread out, but they've pushed straight up C long. It's a very aggressive play, considering the buy they're up against as well. You know this isn't going to be given completely for free. And there it is, Pith able to find one, but he doesn't expect the second player out. But see, the problem is now they've got to go all the way around and pick up that spike and move to site. That means that obviously G2 are going to be ready to come back in for this retake. Artist didn't fully check mid. He lazy peeked it. That is unfortunate. You got to be checking your corners, and the lurk pays off as NIP pull into a man advantage, but not for long.
The lazy peeks, not checking corners, is always the thing that we talk about over and over again as Hip. How did he miss that one onto David P? He should have had him dead to rights, but now it's a 3v1. Fearoff in the back of the site. He's trying to get some information. He's trying to get Mixwell taken down. He's looking for more, but it's not going to work out. G2 surround him. G2 swarm all over him. They'll grab the 9th round. They'll keep a 2-round lead within this. And they're certainly not going to go down without a fight. A troublesome round there for Nip. Very split apart by the time that spike was going down.
Yeah, that's the problem, right, Banks? It's not even by the time the spike went down. It was by the time they found the control on the site. You push 2 players to C, you get the 1-for-1 trades. That's an ideal scenario. Then Rhyme even goes so far as to find that trade over. The problem for me is pushing into Garage, Banks. They didn't have control, and they treated it as if they did, as if it was open season. But they knew at that point, it had already been so long since they'd had players. But I think the logic was, well, I've just killed the rotate in B. So now no one will be in Garage because he was the guy that was going to go there. But they didn't account for the rotate through spawn that had come into play.
Oh, this. Looking to try and deal some damage early on. It's not going to work out for him, but he loves it when he gets his ult right to pop it at the very start of a round, guessing where they may be before they push on forward. Oh, just got to be careful. Some shots peppering up towards him in the window. So Nip got a lot of early aggressive positioning here, but they've not been able to do too much with it. This will now play out in G2 being able to sit back in their usual positions. And Nip now having to be slightly more cautious here, looking towards long.
Yeah, the problem is whenever you make these kind of pushes, you're always worried, like, what if Mixwell is just waiting around a corner? What if he's ready to just take the shot? And look, they're being cautious as they move towards that long angle. But it's Artist coming up behind and taking down Ryan. He's had some success lurking towards mid, but really costing his team more than he provides. Losing out on that round, the other one was a 1-for-1 trade. At least they've managed to overrun the A site, though. Overtaking control, shutting these players out using the Nano Swarm, and with that, a guaranteed spike plant. They're even going so far as to clear out Heaven. G2 have got plenty of those flashes to expend. Now look at that old placement. There is no safe ground. I don't think they're safe underneath. And so with 3 seconds left, they're going to try to start ulting through to catch these players on the hunt.
That's an ult that they didn't really want to spend at that point either. G2 forcing it out of them. G2 large and in charge with 5 still alive, and it's just getting better and better for him. Hip trying to play off the side. His position isn't known just yet, but Piff swings on him. Everyone's still up for G2. The defuse comes in, and a very solid retake, a completely flawless round. They gave up the ace site, and it didn't even matter.
amidst the chaos, Banks, I actually missed the fact that I believe that ultimate was in order to try and take down the lockdown. I think it was successful as well. That's something I haven't actually seen used before in EU, to use the Hunter's Fury to counter that. That's quite
Very
interesting.
smart, actually, yeah.
I didn't even think of that. I didn't take into consideration that it would do damage to an ability, but fair enough. And so a really smart usage to start that one off, to go in for the retake, well, to stop them going in for the retake. But unfortunately, still, there was no reward for it. Losing out the round, finding yourself 10-7 behind is G2. They start to become a little bit dominant. They start to become confident. The 1-for-1 trades, not ideal. Turned into a 2-for-1 with Pyjamas. Looker's right in the sight. He is lurking around here and making these players very nervous.
They're just dashing out of there. Lucker being such a nuisance, but the turret's being a nuisance to him. David P still getting away with that kill. Lucker's getting one, but it's one and done. There's 11 rounds now secured for G2. And despite a bit of control had towards B, it just wasn't enough, and they certainly didn't have the weaponry.
I'm actually gonna keep an eye just to watch that back on the screen and double check that it was the Hunter's Fury taking down the ult. It's something that has evaded me completely in terms of meta evolvement. I'm quite interested to see. I guess the thing is, though, Banks, we haven't had a lot of Killjoy played in EU, have we? Only the level clash, and obviously it didn't come through in that, so...
Yeah, not until the very end.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. We barely saw it.
G2 looking to put some aggression on long. Mixwell's found Rhyme as well. Well, that's not a shot that Lucker needs to be missing either. The push is still coming through. David P off the edge of it. He's not finished yet. Flashing out. He's looking to do so much more. They eventually take him down. But it's already a 4v2 and Lucker's health is incredibly low.
Oh, this is not going to go well. Pyjamas got there just in time to hold the angle and just completely shred him. With that, it's a 4 versus 1. NIP in a position where, I mean, they cannot be comfortable right now. Kree is tucked underneath. He's made steps. They know he's here, and he just gets dropped on. Pyjamas coming through with some Assassin's Creed gameplay. And on the back of that, G2 again looking good to just close this one out. It's so sad though, Banks, because this was such a good first half by NIP. And they're just finding no ground in a meta that at the moment, I think is much more attack-sided with what they've been able to provide. The extra flashes, Sage not being there to solo hold sites, and yet they're not delivering. Yes, by the way, it was the Hunter's Fury that destroyed it, 100%. So that's
brilliant.
That's a new thing for me. All right, I'm glad we're learning things. That's what we're here for.
Well, yeah, these top teams, they show us how it's done. We can try and take it through to our own game. As Pyjamas looks to try and get some extra information at the beginning of the round. Already Nip looking to show some presence towards C Long. Mixwell straight in with the ult popped. But no knives are flying just yet. Just some more operator shots pop through the smoke. It's going to completely force Nip to back away. They don't want to have any of this right now.
They might not want to. In fact, I don't think they want any of this map anymore. They're starting to really regret how this veto went down. David P opening it up onto Kree. And look at the confidence that's in play. They're even going to just go through on an ult, or at least it looked like it, as Pyjamas gets a sneaky little flank. The TP over towards their spawn side. Out he goes. Loses his life, but it's still a 4v3. Favor still for G2. They've got ultimates to work around, but so too to the NIP side. David P, what is this? An aggressive play, if ever I've seen one, straight through towards their spawn. Ooh. And Knife just gives him a haircut on the mustache, and then he's taken down all the way as Rhyme finishes it off for him. 3 versus 3, and much more winnable now for NIP.
Yeah, this could be what they needed. An over-aggressive mistake from David P, but Piff is still hanging in the back of the site. Ooh. Oh my god, he still gets away with it. Good for one, but it's one and done. Rhyme's able to put an end to him. The spike can be planted, but Artis working his way in. First headshot delivered. The second player, he's now spotted out. It's a 2v1, and Artis just waits for his teammate if he wanted to, but it doesn't even matter. It's Artis. He's doing what he does best. He's delivering headshots. He's delivering kills. And G2 take it 2-0 here by getting 13-7 on Haven.
What an absolutely phenomenal game this was from G2 start to finish. They've come through showing that new patches, nerfs to